Good afternoon. The meeting will now come to order. Hello, I am Marcia Herbert, President of the Board of Education. I would like to welcome you to the May 10th, 2023 board meeting. In keeping with the board's commitment to open communication with the community, this meeting is being streamed live on the CCPS website at www.k12.org, K12.org, and broadcast live on Channel 21. We are also recording this meeting so it can be accessed on demand on our website and broadcast throughout the month on Channel 21. Public participation will be held at approximately 5:15. Speakers will be directed into the boardroom from the building lobby and are allotted 3 minutes to address the board. As a reminder, please silence all cell phones and other devices. Board members, please turn off your microphone when not speaking. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I need an approval of the agenda. By Dr. Dorsey, seconded by Ms. Battaglia. Corrections? Anything we need to add? All right, I will call for the vote for the approval of the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the approval of the minutes on April 12th, 2023.
So moved.
By Ms. Battaglia, seconded by Mr. Whistler. Comments, questions? Oh, you don't have, you don't,
I don't
oh, here.
have a card.
Well, now you do. You can have mine.
All right, thank you.
All right.
There we go. Okay. I do have one quick question on page 11. Under the approval to join the class action lawsuit against social media providers. There's a statement there that this is a lawsuit against vaping companies. I think that was a different item, right? Okay, so I think we need to cross out that, all we need to do is cross out that sentence on page 11.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor by signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. At this time, I would like to have the Carroll County Student Government Report. It's
Right over here.
right there, young lady. Thank you.
No, use it right there.
No, just,
Oh, would you just like
yeah,
me to
just
stand
put it-
here? Okay, sorry. I apologize.
No problem.
So, good evening, sorry. It's mildly bittersweet giving this report because it's the last board meeting where I'll give a report. For the June meeting, you'll have our president-elect, Flamatu Fofana, give the report. Thank you all for an amazing year, and I really appreciate what you've done throughout the course of this school year. I understand that your positions bear the responsibility and the weight of student, teacher, parent voices, and it can be difficult balancing that sometimes, so thank you for all that you've done. Our April General Assembly was a success, and I am delighted to introduce you to our new board, our President, Flamatu Fofana, our Vice President, AJ Sebian, our Secretary, Agnes Lewinsky, our Second Vice President, Audrey Ong. They have worked incredibly hard for their candidacy, and I'd like to congratulate them for some hard work that's greatly paid off. I'd also like to congratulate Sahithya Sudhakar for being the next Schwab and welcome Chloe Kang onto the CCSJ board as the Schwab-elect. We also have staff applications currently out right now, and they cover many different positions. We need amazing students on the board who excel in multiple different aspects so that they can provide different perspectives and talents to help us improve our board. Applications have already been distributed, so if students are interested, feel free to reach out to me, Flay, Mr. Melhorn, or your school advisor. Applications will be due on May 26th. That's 2 weeks from now-ish. So please get a hold of them while you can, as they do need your full and undivided attention and include recommendation letters. Students can apply for more than one position, but will not be appointed for more than one position. I will be attending the last MASC Executive Board meeting on May 20th at Eastern Technical High School. Registration is currently open and will close on May 17th. All students are welcome to join, so if you're an interested student, feel free to join the meeting. It's how I originally got involved in MASC. And finally, there's just a couple people I'd like to thank. It gets a little long. So first, I'll never forget Mr. Melhorn and all that he has done for CCSJ in the past 3 years. When the pandemic first hit and we realized that we were going to have a completely new advisor, the instability of the club was incredibly worrying. But Mr. Melhorn has stepped up into the role and has become an individual that I admire greatly. I would email him at 3 a.m. in the morning and I'd get a response by 5 a.m. I would have so many questions, but I was never worried about having my questions answered, my suggestions heard, my critiques considered. On behalf of the whole board, I'd like to thank you and congratulate you on your new baby. I would also like to thank the amazing Emily Tedeschi on the board right now. We would discuss many things happening in all of our schools, and without her, I probably would have lost my mind trying to manage everything in CCSJ and life in general. I'd like to thank my lovely, lovely vice president. She's not here today, but Flamati Fofana. She has worked so incredibly hard, and all of her work is present in the person that she is today. We would be up incredibly late discussing CCSJ matters and how to improve upon the club and things that we would be able to do in order to expand student voice. I'm so excited to see how CCSJ grows through her, and I couldn't be happier about the hands that CCSJ is in. Finally, I'd like to thank Amanda Stebner. Amanda was the person who encouraged me to join student government in the first place, and we've been on the board together the longest before Mr. Melhorn was even the advisor. Whenever we have a question about how we used to do things, I would always end up consulting her, and she has been the greatest help of all, supportive, and always willing to do anything that I asked of her. To my seniors, I know you'll go very far. I can't wait to see what you'll do, and I hope that when all of you guys become famous, I'll be in your speech one day. To my underclassmen, you'll go far as well. CCSJ has never been a one-person effort, and I am so happy that you have chosen to take on a portion of that responsibility. I trust that you'll make it grow even more because your creativity and intelligence will never not be invaluable. I'll end this before it gets too long. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys at graduation.
Thank you so much. At this time, I would like the board to join me down in front of the dais for some recognitions. Emily, would you like to join me? Emily Tedeschi, Student Representative, Board of Education of Carroll County. Whereas, on June 8th, 2022, Emily Tedeschi, elected under the procedures developed by the Carroll County Student Government Association, was officially seated as the 47th student representative to the Board of Education of Carroll County, Maryland. And whereas she has regularly and effectively fulfilled the responsibilities of this position as prescribed in the bylaws of Student Government Association and has rendered outstanding service to the students of Carroll County, Maryland. Whereas, while serving as a student representative to the board, she has continued to maintain high ideals in the classroom and before the public and has been an outstanding student and school citizen. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Education of Carroll County gives recognition to Emily Tedeschi for contributions on behalf of all students in Carroll County Public Schools and wishes her for the very best future endeavors. And be it further resolved that this proclamation honoring her be inscribed upon the minutes of the Board of Education of Carroll County, Maryland on the 10th day of May, 2023. And we have all signed it. Congratulations, sweetie. You are welcome. Now, Miss Tara has something for you. And while Ms. Battaglia is giving her a small gift, at this time, I would like Mr. Nick Shockney to come forward, Sister and Superintendent, and then he is going to take over the reins. You'll need to get a picture before we start. Yes, I'm going to get the middle. We're going to be here for a while, guys. Just want to let them know that. Thank you.
You okay if I give a few words really quickly?
She's messing this up. Okay. Oh, teasing. Gotta have a little fun at these things every once in a while. That wasn't in my paper, but that's okay. Miss Gaddis didn't put that in there. We'll note it for next year. Yes, we will.
On June 8th, I sat in that seat for the very first time as the 47th student representative here in Carroll County. My term and the 46 preceding me stand as testaments to the power of education. Education is the invaluable right to learn built upon the foundation of the opportunity to grow. This role clearly distincts growth from achievement. While policy voting results may be the quantifiable achievements my term may be recorded as in the minutes, it is the immeasurable and indescribable growth that illustrates education. The knowledge learned was necessary to understand processes and context, to which I must thank all of my student government advisors who instructed me deeply on legislative processes, and Avanshi Mistry, the former student representative who served as a mentor, who familiarized me with all the board encompasses. Obtaining this information granted me the opportunity to grow. Growth was extensive and built character in the process of earning achievements. Now, looking back, I'm stumped by the question, what did you learn? For it is nearly impossible for me to elaborate on everything I learned from the role itself and from those I met along this journey. But I can say the most impactful lesson was the unexpected underlying commonality across the complex spectrum of the perspective of our very students, and the camaraderie between students to build a better future for each other. It was outstandingly touching to observe. Sahithya, I'm excited for you, knowing our incredible students that you will get to embrace and serve. Thank you to more than 25,000 CCPS students who trusted me with all of your stories and the responsibility to advocate on critical matters on your behalf. I heard all of you, and I hope I made all of you proud. To the Board of Education, Superintendent McCabe, and CCPS staff, thank you for including me in these conversations and providing me a platform to speak on the student voice. I have thoroughly enjoyed connecting with you and facing the realities of our students. Your efforts to learn the whys behind the troubles and accomplishments is greatly appreciated. Please continue to make the positive changes for the needs of the students who depend on you. Sitting up here and serving alongside of you, Board of Education, has been an opportunity of a lifetime that I am eternally grateful for. Thank you, each and every one of you, for this experience. And a large thank you to Mr. Melhorn and CCSGA, including Nikki Zhang, for giving me boundless opportunities to collaborate and admire student leaders and improve how and remind me who and why I serve. However, my ability to serve in this position is with heartfelt thanks to those of you who supported me. Thank you to the countless teachers who gave me flexibility and grace with numerous absences and busy weeks, including my SGA advisor, Mr. Bully. To my advisor, Mr. Piketaji, who pushed me to keep going through beyond the failures that I experienced throughout 4 years of high school. And to Miss Whitlow, my 6th grade homeroom teacher, who reassured me with an unforgettable smile as I nervously gave my first candidate speech. She was the reason I kept going. Finally, to Mr. Kuntz, who's been enthusiastically cheering me on since the 5th grade, and knowing and being there for every achievement, knowing that the resilience and the growth that I invested in each of those steps, including when I took this seat last year, he was seated in the first row. And even a thank you from the bottom of my heart will not suffice, but thank you to my family for your unconditional support. Thank you for not complaining when you saw the miles on the car doubled or the microwave beeped at 10 p.m. because I had post-meeting dinner then. You were there when I felt completely torn because I didn't want to disappoint any students, and you were there for the long TED Talks out of excitement when beneficial changes were made. Whether you made me laugh when I was sorting through papers on the 3rd hour in a row, or gave me a reason to put all of my heart and mind in this job, I love you and can't thank you enough. With that being said, I will step away from this seat, grown stumped by the question, what did you learn? And with the people I will always cherish and promise to represent our students. But what remains is my appreciation for what I learned with this blessing and for all those who supported me. I hope to make you proud and further my education as I step off this dais and into a uniform of the United States Air Force Academy Cadet. For it is thanks to you, I desire to continue to serve my family, community, and country. Thank you, Carroll County Public Schools.
This evening, it is my pleasure to announce the recipients of the 14th Annual Rita Board Dowd Outstanding Administrator Awards. These awards recognize exceptional educational leadership in serving Carroll County Public Schools and our students. I would like to begin by sharing a few remarks about Rita Board Dowd from her family. Rita was committed to education, realizing its importance for nurturing children and the community. To Rita, education was not just an occupation, it was a passion and a privilege. Carroll County Public Schools was part of her extended family. This award is a way of continuing Rita's passion for education by recognizing school administrators, the critical role they serve, and the sacrifice they and their families make in serving the community. Elementary, middle, high school, career and technology, and alternative program principals and assistant principals were eligible to be nominated for the awards. And students, administrators, teachers, parents, faculty and staff members, and other individuals were encouraged to submit nominations. The selection committee was comprised of a member of Rita Board Dowd's family, the previous year's winners, school directors, and the assistant superintendent of instruction. The entire committee reviewed every application and letter submitted. There were many deserving nominees, but only one administrator could be named in each category. Now to the presentation of awards. And please come forward as I call your name. The nominees for assistant principal are Megan Brown, Liberty High School. Megan, we're going to ask you to stay. Thank you. Michael Golden, North Carroll Middle School. Chris Hayden, Pars Ridge Elementary School. Chris was unable to be with us this evening. Amanda Johnson, Mechanicsville Elementary School. Christopher Merson, Liberty High School. Mr. Mercer was not able to be in attendance this evening. Mary Rivera, Westminster High School.
Mary was my student teacher.
Aaron Robinson, Westminster High School. Josh Rudder, Francis Scott Key High School. Mr. Rudder was not available to be here this evening. Next, Jennifer Shipley, Robert Moten Elementary. Next, Lois Tiffany, Manchester Valley High School. Next, Todd Wargo, Gateway School. Charles Weaver, East Middle School. And Jody Weaver, Shiloh Middle School. The recipient of this year's award has a remarkable ability to understand the unique needs and challenges of students with special needs. The recipient ensures that all students are given the support and resources they need to succeed academically, socially, and emotionally. This person's compassion and kind approach are reflected in the positive relationships they have built with both students and staff. The recipient also has shown a deep understanding of mental health needs and has implemented various programs and initiatives to promote mental wellness and has worked tirelessly to ensure that students have access to the resources they need in times of crisis. The recipient's leadership has had a profound impact on the overall positivity of the school environment. They have implemented initiatives to promote kindness, respect, and empathy, which has helped create a welcoming and supportive atmosphere. They pour their heart, mind, and body into the position, and it is obvious that students who work with the recipient are directly and positively impacted through the relationship. This year's recipient of the Reader Board Dowd Outstanding Administrator Award for Assistant Principal is Charles Weaver from East Middle School. It's easy. You get to have you get your picture taken. So we're all gonna come together for a picture. Nominees, don't go too far. I did not do my job very well, and I forgot to give you your certificate. So, nominees, come on over. Come on over. It's okay. I'll just give them to you here. Come on over. I'm an alpha. Megan. There, Mike. I'm sorry, guys. Jody. You'll give them to me. All right, and now for the presentation of the award for Outstanding Principal. The nominees are Addison Beck, Hampstead Elementary School. Addison, come on over this way first to grab your certificate. Thank you. Brian Booz, Century High School. Aaron Brillhart, Sykesville Middle School. Catherine Kramer, Manchester Elementary School. Christina Doherty, South Carroll High School. Rebecca Dupree, Carrolltown Elementary School. Kenneth Gantz, Liberty High School. Joseph Guerra, Manchester Valley High School. Christopher Hines, Mount Airy Middle School. Justin Watts, Robert Moten Elementary School. And Shannon Zepp, West Middle School. This year's recipient has a way of making both staff and students feel as they are the only ones that matter. Their vision of giving everyone a voice, in addition to setting high expectations for learning, has clearly been received. The recipient is willing to try new things to get students not only to work academically, but to become involved in school life and get excited about coming to school. They work directly with students who do not know how or who may feel uncomfortable advocating for themselves by giving them the tools and supports they need. This provides them with skills that will benefit them throughout their educational career. The recipient trusts staff to make important decisions, giving a sense of trust and improving school morale. This also shows students that the staff is working on the same team. The recipient knows how to make students feel special and cared about, yet can have tough conversations and has found the balance between holding students accountable to school expectations and working with the needs of individual students. This year's recipient of the Rita Bordow Outstanding Administrator Award for Principal is Shannon Zepp from West Middle School. Congratulations. And group, you get to come together for a picture also. Thank you, administrators, for all that you do for our students, staff, families, and community. With that, I'd like to turn things over to Superintendent McCabe for the naming of the Carroll County Teacher of the Year.
Good evening. It's an honor for me to recognize our 8 Teacher of the Year finalists and to announce our 2023 Carroll County Teacher of the Year. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to recognize Erica McAndrew from Spring Garden Elementary School, our 2022 Carroll County Teacher of the Year. She has done a superb job during the past year representing our schools and our teachers across the state. Erica is attending a state retreat for Teachers of the Year and is sorry that she is unable to be with us this evening. However, she is with us in spirit and recorded a video message which we would like to share at this time.
Good evening. I would like to take a moment to thank several groups for their amazing support over the course of this year. First and foremost, a thank you to my family at home and at Spring Garden. You have provided amazing support and encouragement throughout the year. It has been an honor to represent you. Superintendent McCabe and the Board of Education, thank you for your support throughout the year. It was an incredible opportunity which allowed me to grow both professionally and personally. To Carrie Gaddis and Brenda Bowers, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You are both incredible women, and I truly hope you know how much I appreciate that you helped me to keep straight. Over the past year, I have learned so much about myself and this profession, collaborating with other teachers from around the state. As a teacher, you do not realize the impact you make on a daily basis. It is a hug, a smile, words of encouragement, but those carry on for a lifetime. In receiving this honor, I did not know how many lives that I had touched. I remember each child I have taught, but truly did not know the impact I had had on their lives. I liken my heart to a quilt, as each child that passes through my class becomes a piece of an amazing quilt. The quilt has the stories over the last 28 years. It is colorful and so comforting. This year has been so affirming. And as you stand here, know that the honor of being a finalist is because you made the difference. You see, you love your students for who they are, as they come to you, and with whatever baggage they may hold. You see beyond that. You see their future, their worth, and you see them for who they are. You are a life changer, a dream maker, and you prepare learners for the future that is unknown by giving them the tools in life to be successful. You realize that each child packs a different toolbox and that it is not one size fits all. You have made a difference beyond belief as you have inspired those around you, whether it is a student, teacher, parent, or administrator. You have been the driving force in helping each child feel safe within the classroom. You have proven that no matter what the situation, you will rise to the occasion to ensure the success of each student. We all know that over the past several years, we have had situations that we never imagined we would face as a teacher. However, you showed up. With a smile on, and even on your toughest days, you pushed through to be the best teacher possible. It truly takes a special person to be a teacher, one who is dedicated and driven, but above all, one that loves all students for who they are and what they bring to the classroom. You manage to find the best in each student, even when it can be challenging. You connect with your students because you are their life changer and their dream maker. My sincerest congratulations to the finalists.
Thank you, Erica. I also would like to thank our Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. We are very proud of the partnership we have maintained with the Chamber to select our Teacher of the Year. On behalf of all Carroll County educators, I extend our most sincere gratitude and appreciation to the Chamber and President Mike McMullen for their continued support of our teachers, and Becky Seek, Community Engagement Manager for the Chamber, for her outstanding work with the Outstanding Teacher Awards program. Mike and Becky, please stand to be recognized. I would also like to recognize Andrea Rapp from First Financial Federal Credit Union for the tremendous support they have provided for the Teacher of the Year program throughout the years. Andrea, please stand. At this point, I would like to introduce the Chamber's 8 Outstanding Teacher Award winners and our finalists for Teacher of the Year. As I call your name, please come forward and remain standing. I also would like to invite each finalist's principal to stand when their teacher's name is announced. Leslie Bollinger, 4th grade STEM teacher, Cranberry Station Elementary School, and Principal Katie Finneran. Next, Tricia Dean, Media Specialist, Liberty High School, and her principal, Ken Gons. Judith Hemler, kindergarten teacher, Mechanicsville Elementary School, and her principal, Carolyn Thomas. Gordon Kinney, networking and cybersecurity teacher, Carroll County Career and Technology Center, and his principal, Betsy Donovan. Denise Kressline, advanced academics teacher, East Middle and North Carroll Middle Schools, principals Jamie Carver and Lisa Livingston. Michael Passon, instrumental music teacher, Sykesville Middle School, principal Aaron Brillhart. Ashley Sevick, social studies teacher, Shiloh Middle School, and her principal, Dave Watkins. And finally, Lauren Stevens, biology and human anatomy teacher, Manchester Valley High School, and her principal, Joe Guerra. Okay. Before I announce our Teacher of the Year, I want to take this opportunity to commend all of our 8 finalists for the exceptional dedication and care they bring to our students every single day. Congratulations and best wishes to each of you. And we'd like to get a group photo with our finalists and our board members before we name the Teacher of the Year. Okay. It is now my great pleasure and honor to announce the 2023 Carroll County Teacher of the Year. This individual will represent Carroll County's teachers in the Maryland Teacher of the Year program and possibly in the national program. Carroll County's 2023 Teacher of the Year is Lauren Stevens, Biology and Human Anatomy teacher, Manchester Valley High School. Before I ask Lauren to speak, I would like to tell you a bit about her. Lauren has a total of 19 years of teaching experience and has been teaching at Manchester Valley High School since 2017. Prior to that, she taught at Outdoor School and East Middle School. Her content and knowledge in the classroom, work as a teacher leader, and ability to build and maintain relationships with her students are exceptional. Her versatility within the curriculum enables her to excel in teaching the most challenged learners in Biology 1 to honors and advanced placement courses with the most gifted students. She always puts the best interest of her students first and takes great care in supporting them in their learning. Lauren participated in the Schoology pilot program for secondary science and led professional development as teachers transitioned to the program. She also participates in curriculum writing for biology and presents the Back to School in-service for science teachers each fall. Lauren also has collaborated on the MSDE Environmental Literacy Framework Update and served as a mentor teacher for student teachers and interns. She is currently working toward her National Board certification. Congratulations, Lauren, and would you like to share a few words with us?
Sure. Like every good teacher, I did come with a prop. No, it wasn't my kid, but that would have been a good one too. First off, thank you. I'm humbled and I was not prepared for this. First, just to kind of recognize, I'm a product of a fabulous school system. We moved here, and I started kindergarten at Manchester Elementary. Had phenomenal teachers all the way through that shaped who I am and how I teach. But I would be missing a big thank you if I didn't recognize my dad. My dad was in education for 41 years. And he really should be up here. And he taught me everything there is that you can't learn in class about teaching. So he really is big reason of who I am and how I am. And I also, all of the teachers that are up here as well, I've taught some of your kids and they're fabulous. And good kids come from fabulous parents. And I graduated high school with some as well, so we just are a part of an excellent school system of loads of people that work really hard. I'm a big Ted Lasso fan, so I'll keep this short because there's a new episode out. And so I'm just gonna put this here. I hope that is straight because I can't see. Teaching is all about believing, and it's what gets you out of your car in the morning and in the door. Believing in whether it's student growth or believing that what you're providing is that wind that those kids need beneath their wings, without the Bette Midler song now running through my head. So teaching is all about just believing, and so I encourage everybody in this room, just keep believing in public education. No matter the challenges, no matter what we face, and we faced a lot, just keep believing. And now Journey is probably running through your head. Thank you. Thank you very much. Totally humbled, and now I don't want to talk anymore.
Thank you, Lauren, and again, congratulations. Board members, I would like to invite you to help me unroll the banner, which will be displayed on the outside of our building for the next school year. I also would like to ask Lauren's principal, Joe Guerra, and her curriculum supervisor, Sarah Weaver, to join us up front. Joe, we also have a banner for you that can be displayed at your school. So come on forward. And Lauren, we also have gifts donated by nearly 50 local businesses here and organizations to celebrate you as the Teacher of the Year. I would like to thank all those who donated gifts for their generosity and support of our Teacher of the Year program. Again, congratulations and thank you to all of our finalists for being here this evening. You represent the best of the best. While we can have only one Teacher of the Year, you are all outstanding teachers, and we are very proud and fortunate to have you in our school system. At this point, we will take a brief pause in our meeting so that those here for the recognition may leave if you wish to do so. I would probably if I were you. And the meeting will resume shortly with public participation.
Okay. To have an orderly presentation of comments by the public, the following guidelines apply. Speakers with a connection to CCPS will be allowed to address the board for the allotted 3 minutes. Only those speakers that have registered online and have been notified by the Communications Department will be permitted to speak. Priority will be given to those citizens that are addressing the board about an item on the current agenda. Citizens not appearing in person for public comment can write to the board through email or U.S. mail. Public participation is not intended to be a question-answer session. However, if citizens have specific questions, the superintendent will assign a staff member to make contact during the board meeting to arrange a time to respond to questions. The superintendent board reserved the right to correct misinformation presented as factual after the conclusion of the public participation period. Statements to the board should relate to a recent agenda item, an agenda that is expected to appear in the future, or a matter of general policy over which the board has authority. Personnel matters, pending appeals, the actions or statements of individual staff, or items related to employee negotiations are not appropriate topics and may not be discussed. The board has scheduled time in the agenda for public participation at approximately 5:15. The board reserves the right to limit the number of speakers on a particular topic so that all topics may be addressed. Additionally, the board retains the discretion to allow additional speakers as it may deem appropriate. The board is allowing no more than an hour for public participation. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less. All comments should be directed to the board members at the dais. Citizens may only address the board with their individual comments. Citizens may not stand in for another person or group and read their comments. When the allotted time expires, the speaker is permitted to complete a sentence. Citizens may leave any handouts for board members on the table in the back of the boardroom. Please do not approach the dais. Additionally, the public may not display signs or posters during the board meeting. In lieu of signs, or if you are unable to complete your comments in the allotted time, individuals are encouraged to submit remarks to the board in writing. Those seated in the audience are asked to be respectful of the speakers and refrain from commenting to the speakers or the board members. And we have 5 speakers. First one, and if I mispronounce your name, please feel free to correct me. The name is Brandon Workshire.
Good evening. My name's Brendan Werkheiser. I'm a resident of Eldersburg, and I live in the Liberty School District. I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to speak with you this evening. The reason I signed up yesterday to speak about a topic that I find important is athletic training and sports medicine coverage for in our county public schools. There is currently, there has been going on a shortage of certified athletic trainers across the country. And I'm not trying to be Chicken Little, but kind of mentioning how the issue to get it so perhaps the county could be ahead of it. Currently, there are 3 counties bordering on Carroll that starting 2 of them definitely in the fall will be hiring full-time athletic trainers as school employees. That is Howard County and Montgomery County. Howard County last year had, well, they have 12 high schools. They had 5 athletic trainers. So where do you think they're going to go to try and get people? They're probably going to come to those who work in Carroll County Public Schools to try and get them to go there. And I think the current system that they have, that most, particularly in Maryland, that they have with the public schools is the clinical model, where a company will put out a bid as if, the same as if the county was asking for copy paper for people who are trained as an allied health profession to provide medical services. And usually those businesses provide a $0 bid because they're trying to take them as a loss leader, because their thought is that, well, we can get somebody to do, you know, if we can get so many student athletes for rehabilitation services, that covers our cost of filling these positions. Well, the schools are getting shortchanged because they aren't getting a trained allied health professional to be able to provide all their services, because they could be half the day, they could be at a clinic, and then they're rushing to practice to cover practice or sporting events. And they have all kinds of things where they can help with, if they're working for the school full time, they can provide rehabilitation and other preventative services, or also rehabilitative services after injuries. And also it's, and I think obviously with the Delmer Hamlin, everyone's seen that this past fall, or most people have seen that, how important it is having immediate access to professional sports medicine staff there to treat injuries and also prevent them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Haley Leonard.
I'm ready. All right. My name is Haley Leonard, and I'm a junior at Winters Mill High School. As a part of the music program at Winters Mill, I've seen the lack of AB options for music students as negatively affecting our numbers and the learning of our students. We have split our classes into honors and concert. Honors consisting of sophomores and up to seniors, and concert consisting of freshmen. At the moment, concert percussion meets the first half of the school year, while concert orchestra meets the second half of the school year. The gap in their time in these classes is affecting the pace in which they're learning as well as their motivation. The transition from middle school to high school is difficult, especially for music students. Consistency is the key to improving and keeping that progress and motivation. We have to have more A/B options to accommodate music schedules so students can take their required classes as well as be able to participate in the music program. A lot of students, including myself, make sacrifices in order to stay in the music program and to take their graduation required classes. We do this by taking classes outside of school, taking online college classes, and going through the tedious process of moving around our classes to fit in music. I propose we take the quarter-long classes that typically take place daily and turn them into a semester-long AB classes so that students can have a class to go to and continue getting an education as well as participating and getting a music education. Here's a quote from one of our concert orchestra students regarding lack of AB options for music students. Quote, "Because I didn't have motivation to practice the first half of the year, I lost a lot of progress. And when I came back to playing, when I saw that we'd only have orchestra the second half of the year, it just seemed like we were an afterthought," end quote. An afterthought. That's what the decision makers have led young musicians to believe, that the hard work and dedication they have put into this program has gone unappreciated and unnoticed. As a part of the honors orchestra and a student aide for the now concert orchestra class, I've seen how much more progress these freshmen have made compared to when I was a freshman. This is because they have a whole 90 minutes to themselves, and we had to share a class with honors, limiting our ability to get the fundamental learning that we needed at that age. We need more A/B options for music students so that they can get the education they need as well as be able to participate in music, whether it be as just a hobby or a possible career path. And we hope that through careful thought and consideration, you will be able to make this happen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Danielle Gazaway. Okay. All right, Jessica Garland.
Good evening. I know that everybody in here has probably seen these YouTube videos with the parents that stand before their local school board and they read pornographic excerpts from books that are found in their media centers. And so rest assured, I'm not here to do that tonight. But I am here to inform you that there is pornographic material in our school libraries. The type of pornographic books that detail graphic rape scenes and even illustrate obscene sexual acts. I know there are people that want to scream that I'm here to advocate for the banning of books, and I'm going to be a little less dramatic about it. By definition, banning books would prohibit or forbid these books to be read by anyone, anywhere, at any time. I'm here to ask the board to develop a policy that delivers more guidance for our librarians about age-appropriate literature selected for our students. CCPS needs a committee of volunteers to audit our media centers and identify those books in our schools that contain harmful messages. The majority of our students are minors in CCPS, and there are laws that dictate what children can lawfully be exposed to. I am not advocating for the banning of these titles. Obscene materials can always be accessed at the public library, purchased on Amazon, or possibly borrowed with parental consent. They do not need to be readily available to our students with a stamp of approval from their trusted librarian. Indecent and obscene material has little to no educational value and interferes with the parents' right to instill their own moral teachings in their children. I urge the board to look over some of the materials that I brought tonight. Read through some of the highlighted passages and ask the following questions. Does a book that uses the F word 97 times belong in an elementary and middle school? Could a book detailing a graphic rape scene invoke mental health crises for teens that may have faced similar sexual abuse? Would a teacher feel comfortable reading passages aloud to his or her students that detail the tearing and bleeding that accompany violent, unwanted sexual acts? If your answer is no, then there's no place for these publications in our school. Give parents the opportunity to decide if their child when their child will be exposed to such literature. According to our CCPS policy, obscene publications with respect to minors is defined as human masturbation, sexual intercourse, or any touching of or contact with genitals, pubic area, or buttocks of male or female, or of the breasts of female, whether alone or between members of the same or opposite sex. I'm here to inform the board that our school is in violation of our own policy. I would also suggest that there is a correlation between the mental health crises among teens today and their ability to easily access adult content. The majority of our teens could find these detailed obscene sexual acts right at their fingertips on their phones. This does not mean that our schools should provide another opportunity for exposure to pornography. Parents are struggling to keep up with the dangers of the digital world as it is. Allowing our librarians to stock these books that parents pay for with tax dollars is giving our children permission to view explicit material not suitable for minors. Our schools should be a safe place, a place where parents can send their kids and know that the teachers did everything to prevent dangers within those walls. As a parent, I'm requesting that our media centers not offer another occasion for our children to access material that is not age appropriate. And I'll leave a lot of the content examples back here for you. Where did you say to leave them?
And the last speaker this evening is Diane Grody.
Good evening. Diane Grody, representing the School Bus Contractors Association, and we're requesting the approval of the fiscal year 24 transportation services reimbursement formula. Since April of 21, many hours of discussion were devoted by the Joint Committee on the formula to review and update the transportation budget. The budget includes the 11.4% CPI maintenance increase, which expenses we are paying out of pocket now, 1 year prior to our reimbursement. The PVA is based on the October 1st, 22 prime rate of 6.25%, which has steadily increased to the present 8.25%. This prime rate will impact contractors' financing for new buses for the fiscal 24 year. During the budget hearings, we requested an additional $600,000 for additional salary increases and 3 additional employee benefit days mandated by the state under the earned sick leave. This request is still pending. Contractors continue to absorb the additional expenses under the sick leave mandate. We understand that CCPS is doing everything possible to limit the increasing transportation budget and preparing for the Maryland Blueprint. Our dedicated local contractors continue to provide transportation to our families as we still face the dire driver shortage uncertainties. We appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And now we will move on to employee groups.
Good evening, Superintendent McCabe, members of the Board of Education, and Commissioner Vigliotti. I am Cindy Porter, President of CASE, representing LPNs, clericals, and assistants as paraprofessionals across Carroll County Public Schools. As is customary in May, we all look up and realize that the end of the school year is almost upon us. On more than one occasion during my remarks this year, I have mentioned the concerns for staff safety from the increased student behaviors that we have seen across the school system. I am grateful to be working with Human Resources to gain more consistency in incident reporting, and I'm hoping that as a result, we as a school system can have a better understanding of the true number of injuries sustained by staff this year, and then utilize that data to work together to find ways to make our schools safer for all moving forward. While there are challenges to filling positions across our school system, a significant number of vacant positions are in positions in the CASE bargaining unit, which are more susceptible to the effects of the increased student behaviors. Finding avenues to be more intentional concerning the safety of staff can only increase our chances of filling these critical positions. On another note, this week CCPS is celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week. All of us can readily remember that teacher who had a lasting impact on us, shaping our lives. Personally, there were several teachers who made a lasting impression on me during my formative years, but one of them, who happened to be my band teacher, changed the course of my life and in turn impacted the lives of my 3 children. As educators, we sometimes don't realize how what we do every day can leave such lasting impressions on the students we serve. To that end, and as we saw this evening, Carroll County has always been known for its quality of teachers. So today, I want to acknowledge and celebrate those educators. We're proud to work alongside of you in support of the students of our county. Today is also National School Nurse Day, and as president of CASE, I want to say a very heartfelt thank you to the caring and knowledgeable nurses who staff our schools. Their duties go far beyond Band-Aids and temperature checks, especially with the complex medical needs of our students that they see to every day. We are truly grateful for all you give to the students of our county. Lastly, CASE looks forward to the finalization of our contract this evening, which was overwhelmingly ratified by our membership at the April General Membership Meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Here she comes.
There we go. Had to get it out. Good evening, Superintendent McCabe, board members, Commissioner. I am Celeste Jordan, President of CCEA. I might as well just put them on. The first full week in May is designated as Teacher Appreciation Week. However, I like to call it Educator Appreciation Week because Carroll County Education Association is not just teachers. Yes, we are classroom teachers and special ed teachers, but we are also nurses, school counselors, media specialists, math and ELA specialists, resource teachers, career prep teachers, academic facilitators, mentor teachers, behavior specialists, speech language pathologists, intervention specialists, interpreters, assistive technology consultants, occupational therapists, and physical therapists. According to the African proverb, it takes a whole village to raise a child, and the members of this Carroll County Education Association illustrate that perfectly. Every educator plays a role in the development and academic success of a child. I listed the many titles of the educators who belong to CCEA. However, we are not the only union of educators in Carroll. CASE represents ESPs. NEA classifies ESPs as education support professionals, but I know ESP stands for Essential School Personnel, and that title says it all, essential. Our instructional and special education assistants, clerical staff, and LPNs, to name a few. Our administrators and supervisors have a union, but the letters are all messed up, so I'm not going to say it. Represent the building leaders and content supervisors who are vital to the education of our students and to the functioning of our schools. Ask Me represents the custodians and maintenance and transportation departments, and the Carroll County School Food Services Association represents all the people making sure that our students have breakfast and lunch every school day, because we know there is no learning if a child is hungry. These two groups teach our students every day about work ethic and compassion for other people. During this week or by the end of the school year, please take a moment to show appreciation for what all of the educators of Carroll County do for Carroll County students and the greater community. Give words of encouragement and understanding, since we know that people who go into education because they want to make a difference in the lives of students. I use the following quote yesterday at the Board of Commissioners meeting, but I think more people watch this meeting. Sorry, Commissioner. So I'm going to leave you with a quote from Marian Wright Elderman. Education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we have recognition statements. Mr. Whistler, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. I believe I have a short one here.
Yes, you do.
And it is dovetailing on what our employee groups just had to say. This is National Teacher Appreciation Week. Although we formally recognize this celebrating at our last meeting, we'd like to thank our teachers once again for everything you do. We can't do this without you. We know that. And we appreciate everything you do for our students.
Thank you. Dr. Dorsey.
May is Pupil Personnel Worker Month. Our PPWs help to ensure that all of our students have the opportunity for a successful school experience through advocacy, consultation, and connecting families to the community resources they may need. They help to form and maintain a positive home-school connection and consult with school administration, staff, and parents on a wide range of issues. So our thanks to all of our PPWs for their dedication and efforts on behalf of our students.
Thank you. Ms. Savigny.
Yes. And as already mentioned by Ms. Porter, today is National School Nurse Day. On behalf of the board, I would like to express our appreciation to the professional nurses in our schools for their dedication to the safety, health, and academic success of all of our students. They play significant roles not only in healthcare at their school, but also in helping students meet the challenges they face today, supporting education and advancing student health. Our school nurses go above and beyond and are instrumental in our efforts to keep our students, staff, and community healthy and safe.
Thank you. And at this time, we will have board member activities and correspondence. And Ms. Tedeschi, we are going to have you go first.
Sounds good. As Nikki had mentioned previously, on April 26th, we hosted our CCSGA, typically a May GA, but this year it was in April. We concluded our year of reigniting the SGAs across the county through workshops and our elections. Congratulations to our new executive board, which Nikki again named earlier, and CCSGA is in really great and experienced hands who I know will take the advocacy and the opportunities that CCSGA has and expand it into Maryland Association of Student Councils and beyond. We have some really great board members who are excited to get our students further involved. And to an extension of that, we do also have our staff applications out. So students, if you are interested in becoming a part of CCSGA beyond your own high schools, please apply to these staff positions. You can apply to multiple positions, you just can't hold multiple. So there's a lot of chances for you to take something on. We also have jobs, so there's lots of opportunities to get involved, and there's a very wide variety of jobs. So no matter what you're interested, whether it is student government or it is websites or social media, we have a job for you. So please see your SGA advisor if you are interested in one of those. We're very excited to take you onto the board. On May 1st was National College Decision Day, so congratulations to all of the seniors who have decided on what college and universities you will move on to, and we hope that your CCPS education helps carry you forward. And also congratulations to all of those who decided on a career, on a military branch, or a different route that they will be taking in the future. We are proud of all of you, regardless of what your decision looks like, and we are so excited to see what you do in the future. On May 6th, I participated in Walk a Mile in Their Shoes, which supported sexual abuse survivors in Carroll County. And then, of course, for Teacher Appreciation Week, I cannot send enough thank yous to all of my teachers who have thoroughly touched my heart, and I know many students can't put the words together for all of the teachers that have had an impact on them, whether it is through the clubs that they've gotten involved in, what varsity sports they decide to take on, or just what majors they're considering in their future. Teachers have such a great impact, and we're so thankful for our CCPS teachers. So that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Savigny.
Thanks. It's been a very busy month, a lot going on. One of the first things this past month that I attended was the legislative breakfast down at the Winfield Fire Company with all of our delegates from Carroll County. And it was really a great event, very well attended, and so great to hear from our delegates about all of the work that they had done down in Annapolis in this past session, and to speak directly with them and hear their concerns for the future. What did pass, what didn't pass in Annapolis. It was very informational and just a wonderful event. One of the other really fun things that I got to do this month was I got to be a guest MC at the Battle of the Books at Man Valley High School. I got to do that with Nick Shockney. So I read the first half of the questions, and he read the second half of the questions, and it was just so much fun. If you've never been to a Battle of the Books, I can't recommend it highly enough. Just see the energy coming from just hundreds of kids that are excited about reading. It's just absolutely fantastic. So you have to experience it to believe it. But that was just a really fun experience. And I really thank the public library and our relationship with them that allowed me to have that great experience. And congratulations to all the kids who competed in all the Battle of the Books competitions around the county this past month. And a lot going on just as a parent, as a Board of Ed member, as a friend. The events going on at the schools, there were the musicals, the band concerts and orchestra concerts, prom, track events, lacrosse games, so many things that I got to attend this past month. I want a special shout out to FSK for their presentation of The Addams Family, and in Westminster, The Lightning Thief. Those two particular musicals I got to see, and they were fantastic. So just can't say enough about our music programs around the county and how talented our students are. It's just absolutely fantastic to see those things. Last night, actually, Dr. Dorsey and I got to go to one of the meetings for the kindergarten and pre-K planning committee. So very good to hear directly from principals and teachers in the kindergarten classrooms of, what they really need as we move forward on the kindergarten additions for those schools. So it was great to hear some of those comments directly from the principals, and look forward to having those discussions in our master facilities planning workshop later on this month. And lastly, the Family Life Committee meeting, there was one of those this past month, and some really good things happening there where we're starting to see new resources and new materials come out for the new framework that's going to be implemented for a high school and middle school, will be implemented come September. For elementary school, not until the following year. So a lot of good work continues to happen in that committee, and want to thank everyone for their efforts and involvement there. That's it.
Ms. Battaglia.
An echo of what Ms. Vigney said. It's been a pretty busy month, and I think we're only going to get busier as it goes on. I had attended some of the Battle of the Books, and thank you again, Ms. Vigney, for emceeing, and Nick for that too. Some interesting questions about poop and gas and smelly diapers and goo. There was a theme. There was a theme. Fourth and fifth graders like poop, apparently. So whatever. But yeah, it was really good, and yeah, congratulations to all those that participated. It's a great partnership we have with the Carroll County Public Library. I attended the town hall that the superintendent held at Winters Mill. The numerous plays throughout the county, again, wow, our students are phenomenal. It takes a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of memorization, singing, dancing. It is exhausting, and our kids do phenomenal here in this county. So I just want to put a shout out to all the kids, all the staff, all the teachers, everyone that participates, and everybody that goes out and participates to go to see these plays. It brings a lot of support in the community. Plant sales, you got FFAs doing plant sales, and there's another one this Saturday, the same time as the JV track and field championships up at Man Val. So buy your plants for Mom while you're up there. Yesterday was the STEM Center ribbon cutting ceremony at Elmer Wolf, and that was another phenomenal experience. All the kids were extremely excited. And I'm looking forward to that program expanding in the county. The ESOL, last night I attended at the Career and Technology Center, where they go into giving an idea of what career and tech is, letting families tour the facility, and just answering some questions and start getting kids to start thinking about their futures after schools. Attended the county public hearing yesterday as well. You guys, yeah, pretty tough job you had last night. I mean, I know it's tough to sit up there. We do it periodically, and I could see you guys taking notes tremendously. So I think you guys are getting some ideas of things you heard from the public, just as we do. There you go. Some upcoming events. The overdose awareness vigil is tomorrow evening at St. John's at 7 p.m. This is an annual event that has been going on for quite some time, and this is a remembrance for those that have overdosed over time and years in this county. And it is a very emotional event, and I do advocate for those to attend because you do get a sense of how overdoses affect this county and how it can affect you. We have the Liberty LFI prom coming up, the track and field JV championships, career and tech graduation ceremonies, last day of school, and of course high school graduations. As a mom, I'm anxious and I'm nervous to see what happens. I mean, you think of this day when they're in kindergarten and you're like, you got time? And no, it flies by. Emily, I mean, you're getting ready to do it yourself. You're getting ready to walk across that stage. And as a parent of a senior, it's a lot of pride that we hold. And, we think back of when you guys were little, when you're babies. And, it's hard to believe that this time goes by so fast. But good luck to your future. I know you will do great things. So good luck to you, and good luck to all the seniors. Let's see, anything else coming up that I had on here? Just huge thank you to our teachers, nurses, and our staff for this week. Talked about college decision day, as well as those that had signed a dedicated to play sports in college as well. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I just want to, as a reminder, it's okay to not be okay. But make sure that you talk to somebody. Make sure you talk to a friend or a grown-up. And yes, us as adults, as grown-ups, we understand. We were teenagers once. We know what's going on and how you're feeling. But it's important to make sure you talk to somebody. So, wear green. There was a big thing for this week, especially for tomorrow. Just make sure you talk to somebody if you're not feeling okay. It's okay not be okay, but just make sure you talk to somebody.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Dorsey.
Thank you. Again, busy month. On April 13th, I had the honor and privilege to attend the National Honor Society induction ceremony at Westminster High School. I congratulate all of the students who were inducted into the National Honor Society and their families. And a special thanks to Steve Bauer-Sox for inviting me to be the guest speaker that evening. And there are several people in this room whose children, I should say students, makes them sound a little bit older, but whose students were inducted into the National Honor Society that evening. So again, many congratulations. And I know students know that they don't do these things on their own, but it certainly does depend on the parent support and love that you all continue to give. On April 14th, I attended our county's Equity Council meeting, And I also attended the 32nd Annual Tournament of Champions, which was hosted by McDaniel College. Congratulations to our student athletes for participating in the many activities that were provided, and many thanks to the McDaniel Education and Exercise Science Department, Linda Kephart and her adapted PE students, and to everyone who played a part in making the event possible, including our own CCPS. And finally, that night, I attended the spring production of The Addams Family, presented by the Key Players at Francis Scott Key. And again, it certainly was a fun evening, and it was packed with so much talent. So thanks to Mrs. Gore and Mrs. King for their direction of the musical, and for the community, how it really came together to support the Key Players. On April 19th, I attended my MABE Board of Directors meeting, and that evening attended Superintendent McCabe's town hall at Winters Mill High School. On May 2nd, I had a conference program committee planning meeting. On the 3rd, Special Olympics. It was a cool day weather-wise, but the student athletes really warmed our hearts as they participated in the parade and opening ceremony, and then later the activities at Westminster High School. And again, we thank everyone who made that event possible for our students. On May 4th, I attended the Night Around the World at Mount Airy Elementary School. Thanks to Principal Winson, Assistant Principal Jen Mitchell, Mount Airy staff members, and our international office for hosting this evening around the world. Students and their families had the opportunity to share information about their native cultures. They had displays and food and live performances, and again, it was just very educational, and it was a wonderful experience, and it appeared as though everyone was certainly enjoying that special night. And as I was leaving the school that late afternoon, early evening, a wonderful rainbow appeared in the sky. I don't know whether you got a chance to see that or not as you were leaving, Mrs. Herbert, but it was beautiful. On May 9th, just yesterday, was a busy day. I participated in the MABE Board of Directors Executive Director Search. Again, we know that Executive Director Frances Glendenning is soon retiring, so the Board of Directors continued our Executive Director search for her replacement. I had to leave that event to head to William Winchester for the K Planning Committee meeting. And Mrs. Savigny, again, it was a very informational meeting. And again, it's always good to go to the source, to the people who are actually using these spaces to tell us really what they need the spaces to look like. So thanks to the committee and Mr. Kane for the opportunity for having our kindergarten staff and administrators participate in that meeting. So I look forward to seeing this through completion. Again, I've never been involved in a planning committee like this before. I've seen the end results, but I've never seen it from the beginning, so to speak, from this particular vantage point. So I was glad that I was able to participate. And then finally, last night, I was able just to stop by the Career and Technology Center briefly for the CTE Pathways and Possibilities event. So I could see that it was quite well attended. In fact, the parking lot was full. There was a special activity at the high school, and you know, the whole area was just jam-packed with cars. But again, I did have the opportunity, thanks to Mr. Wernick, for helping me go through several of the departments to see some of the students as they were really engaging with the teachers in finding out information about particular areas of interest that they had. So again, it was a busy time, but everything I think was just very worthwhile and very beneficial.
I do have one question. Does MABE have a lot of applications for Francie's position? Because that's a very important position.
It's an important position, and we're toward the end of the process right now.
Okay, good.
And as you know, just like we did our superintendent search, everything involved with that is confidential.
That's right. Well, but I'm glad, you know, because that's important
It
for
is,
us.
and we're making progress.
Good. Mr. Whistler.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Busy month, even though I had a week-long vacation, was sidelined for a week for illness, and I had a week of travel for work for my day job. But on April 24th, I met virtually with our Maryland Association of Boards of Education Legislative Committee, and we met to review those bills that passed and those that failed in Annapolis. I really want to thank our parents, educators, and other stakeholder groups that were so instrumental in helping us stop an attempt by state authorities to exercise control over curriculum, how we administer, develop, and you were just a huge effort. You were a huge reason why that effort was stopped in Annapolis. We'll continue to work over the coming months to identify blueprint mandates that should be repealed or at a minimum include a waiver process so that local governments and boards of education like ours will have more flexibility to keep costs low and assure high academic standards in our school systems across Carroll County. On April 28th and May 2nd, I met with several members of the development community to answer their questions about Blueprint. As we all know, land use development and those development projects directly affect school enrollment and capacity. We already see its negative effect on several schools throughout our county, particularly in Eldersburg, where I live. I made it a point to emphasize 2 points with them. One is that current enrollment projections don't include pre-K numbers. That's a Blueprint mandate that's coming. And two, Blueprint will force us to move many teachers around the system so that we can meet the equity requirements in the 24-25 school year. So while many schools may remain below capacity limits, I'm very concerned about the student-teacher ratios in our schools. And since class sizes directly affect student achievement, I left with them my thought that it's very important for leaders to now consider how development projects would impact student-teacher ratios. We can't just solely rely on a local school's overall capacity to discern development projects around the county. So I strongly urge our commissioners and our state delegation to include student-teacher ratios and formulas they use to approve land use development projects, the issuing of building permits, and even the assessment of local impact fees. Blueprint has significantly changed the way we manage the school system, and I think it's very important that others around the county and the state think about Blueprint and changing some of the development and land use policies throughout our county. On May 1st, I visited Carrolltown Elementary briefly to thank them for Teacher Appreciation Week and for everything they do. Over the past 2 weeks, so many parents and local businesses have given gift cards, food items, and so much more to our county schools and PTAs. I really appreciate all of these stakeholders showing our teachers and staff just how much they care. And our teachers and staff do matter. They do so much for our students. On May 3rd, I had a great time alongside Dr. Dorsey and our board president, Ms. Herbert. We had a great time seeing all of those student athletes at Westminster High School during the CCPS Spring Challenge. So many people came together, special educators, bus drivers, instructional assistants, and parents, and they kept the spirit of the Special Olympics alive for so many student athletes. It was fun watching the kids compete, laugh, and enjoy the day together with friends, and so I really look forward to next year's event. On May 4th, I attended Freedom Elementary PTA's meeting virtually. I really appreciated their invitation to attend and participate. The students and staff at Freedom are so fortunate to have so many caring parents support the school. On May 8th, I met virtually with the Carroll County Council of Parent Organizations to discuss efforts they can consider to secure funding for playgrounds. I really appreciate the superintendent for suggesting they meet with me. We talked about the necessary steps they can do to secure their nonprofit 501c3 status, the process they can go forward with to request funds from Carroll County Department of Parks and Recreation, and we also reviewed the efforts that they can do to work with state legislators to request legislative bond initiatives. We also spent quite a bit of time talking about various blueprint mandates and how the group can work with stakeholders across the state to assure high academic standards and student achievement. And I also want to thank our incredible CCPS staff, bus drivers, local businesses, for supporting our students throughout the entire school year. Together, they accomplished so much and once again made Carroll County one of the best school systems in the state. Other counties are truly amazed how we do so much with so little and all of the challenges that each and every one of you overcome every year. And a special thanks to our incredible superintendent for moving up the last day of school to June 9th. We get to have one more full weekend this summer because of you. So I hope everyone has a terrific summer, and I want to congratulate our graduates, and I also want to say a special thank you to our student member of the board. Emily, you are truly a remarkable young woman, and I know you're going to be incredibly successful in life. We're so proud of you, your parents are proud of you, and thank you for our service. Thank you for your service to our county.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. On April 25th, I did something different. I attended the monthly meeting of the State Board of Education and spoke during public comment. And I have to thank Mr. Shockme for taking me down there, because I would not drive downtown. The purpose of it, because I'm a country girl, and I was not doing that. And the purpose of my comments, I was to explain that we are in unprecedented times and to ask for their assistance as we struggle to implement the blueprint. 2 days later, the Maryland State Board of Education, Clarence Crawford, came to Carroll County. And he received a tour of the Career and Tech Center during a visit to Carroll County along with Ms. McCabe. This was one of his regular scheduled visits. And not only did the superintendent come, the vice president came, Dr. Getty, who is also from Carroll County, and Gail Bates, who is a state board member, and Zach Hands, who lives here in Westminster, is an executive director of the state board. And we had a great discussion, and we definitely did talk about Blueprint. On May 4th, I did attend the cultural event at Mount Airy Elementary, and it was packed. Last night, I spoke at the commissioner's budget hearing. I think this is the first time I can ever remember that there wasn't hatred, nastiness, accusing, and it was a thank you night. I felt it was important to be there to thank them in person for their support this year, the additional funding we are receiving, and to express how much we appreciate the excellent working relationship we have with them. I can't ever remember this, and I'm an old Carroll County girl. I taught in the county for 40 years, so it has been a long time since this has happened. And I'm reading off script now, but I do have to thank Ms. McCabe for working, and along with her team, and I do have to say Mr. Kyler, because he was on this side of the street last year, but he does know the inner workings, and I thought he did give a really good idea that we actually gave them notebooks about our funding and how it worked and the actual numbers. And I think that was just an educative move that was unprecedented. I thought that really helped. And you could see what were our needs and our concerns were. So I did really want to appreciate them. And we are going to have more challenges next year in the blueprint. Our two boards have open communication, and I really want to continue this dialogue because next year is not going to be easy either. And a reminder that we will be hosting our final CCPS Community Wellness Night for 2023. It is on Wednesday evening at Wesley Freedom Church in Sykesville from 6 to 8 p.m. This is a wonderful opportunity for parents to learn about strategies you can use to help your child and how to have tough conversations with your teens about anxiety, depression, and risk-taking behaviors. So that is a really good thing that if anybody has time, it would be great for you to attend. And again, I would really like to end once again thanking the commissioners. As a board, we have come to you, and we did share our concerns. You listened to us, you worked with us, and you provided the funding we need to get through the next year. For that, we are grateful. And Emily, best of luck. All right, and now we will have the superintendent's report.
I'll start a little bit off script by saying that I was able to co-MC the middle school Battle of the Books with the executive director of CCPL, Andrea Bursler. And Ms. Battaglia, I'm happy to say that the theme that you mentioned for elementary school was not the theme for middle school. So, so that was good for me, asking. Yes, yes. So I'll begin by saying congratulations to Denise Kressline, an advanced academics teacher, for being named the Maryland History Day statewide middle school teacher of the year. She was nominated and recognized for her work supporting students at both North Carroll and East Middle Schools on their History Day projects. Of the 92 students who registered to participate in the Carroll County History Day competition, over 40 of the students worked with Denise on their submissions. 15 of those students placed in their respective categories and advanced to the Maryland History Day competition. Next, 5 of our schools have been recertified as Maryland Green Schools by the Maryland Association for Environmental and Outdoor Education. Pars Ridge Elementary School has achieved sustainable school status, and Mechanicsville Elementary School has achieved sustainable bronze level. They have participated in the program for 18 years. Hampstead Elementary, Oklahoma Road Middle, and Westminster Elementary Schools also received recertification. In addition, Carroll County Outdoor School was recertified as a Maryland Green Center and is a role model in the state, providing opportunities for students to learn about the local environment. Congratulations to the students and staff who have worked so hard to reduce the environmental impact of their schools. I also am pleased to share that Carroll County Public Schools has been recognized among the best communities for music education by the National Association of Music Merchants Foundation for our outstanding music education programs for the 7th consecutive year. This designation recognizes the outstanding efforts of teachers, administrators, parents, students, and community leaders who are making music part of a well-rounded education for every child in their communities. Congratulations to Carl Stewart, Supervisor of Fine Arts, and all of our music teachers on this award. Congratulations to Elmer Wolf Elementary School and media specialist Danielle Schwessinger for being selected to receive the 4th Annual Mathical Book Prize Collection Development Award. This $700 grant will enable the school to expand its library collection of literary fiction and nonfiction books to encourage students to discover a love of mathematics. Elmer Wolf is one of just 32 libraries in K-12 Title I schools nationwide to be presented with this grant. Speaking of Elmer Wolf, yesterday I had the pleasure of participating in the celebration of the opening of the school's new STEM center. By next spring, we expect to have these centers at all of our elementary and middle schools, making us the first school system in Maryland to have district-wide STEM lab implementation. This amazing opportunity for our students would not be possible without the Callert Foundation. We are very grateful for the support of the foundation for these STEM centers and the many other projects they have supported throughout the years. I would also like to thank the Ripken Foundation for their support of this initiative and the ongoing training and technical support they will be providing for our STEM centers. And I have to say, the students and the staff at Elmer Wolf yesterday were very excited to see Cal Ripken Jr. show up to help to open that STEM lab. That was exciting. I would like to congratulate all of our high school drama departments for a very successful spring season. From Footloose to The Addams Family, this year's musicals were extremely well done and much enjoyed by their audiences. These productions were months in the making and would not have been possible without the hard work of our students, both on stage and behind the scenes, as well as the leadership of our outstanding drama teachers. And finally, I would like to remind everyone that Friday, June 9th, will be the last day of school for our students. There will be a 2-hour, 45-minute early dismissal. Yes, one more full weekend of the summer.
Thank you. And I do have to say one thing about Elmer Wolf, 2 things about Elmer Wolf yesterday. Cal Ripken was fashionably late by 30 minutes, but I want to tell you all something. Miss Tracy Belsky, that is the principal of that school, They were so excited when he walked in. They were clapping and yelling and hooping and hollering. But let me tell you something. When she put those fingers up and did the 1, 2, 3, you could hear a dime drop. You could hear anything drop in there. I mean, they are so respectful to their teachers. And I thought they were so well behaved during the presentation. And I look at that as a reflection of a school. But they were so attentive and they were really into it, but they were so well behaved. And when I see that, I always want to recognize that. Yep. So that was that. Okay, now we are going to move on to reports. The construction report, Ms. McCabe.
This is the monthly construction report. One piece of good news to note: at the previous board meeting, we brought CIP adjustments and indicated that we anticipated that the Interagency Commission on School Construction, known as the IAC, would increase the state's participation. This month's report notes that we have received a much-needed additional $1 million on the Carroll County Career and Tech Center project. Also, I would like to announce that there will be an open house for the community at the Old East Middle School on Thursday, June 1st, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. Although there will not be formal tours of the building, anyone who would like to walk through the building is welcome to attend. Again, that's Thursday, June 1st, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening, to walk through the Old East Middle School. And with that, Mr. Marks is available for any additional questions or comments.
No cards?
I do not have any questions.
Wow.
It's looking
we are
beautiful.
moving on. Okay.
It's looking beautiful.
Write that down. Take notes. Take notes. Take notes. At this time now, we will have the legislative summary. Ms. McCabe and Mr. O'Neill.
I know.
Okay. The General Assembly has concluded and the dust is settling. Mr. O'Neill has produced a session summary that includes any CCPS action steps based on enacted legislation, and he is available for any questions.
Any questions? I know we have gone over this time and time and time again, and we are moving on. Thank you all very much. Okay, and at this time, personnel transaction items.
Okay, this is one of those items during the year when I exercise my authority to reassign staff to various positions. It's typical on an annual basis that we may move assistant principals and principals from one school to another. Usually, this is to give someone an additional growth experience in a different school setting or school community, or to form complementary leadership teams. These lateral assignments do not require board action, but I always like to share these reassignment decisions with you. First, Catherine Kramer, principal at Manchester Elementary School, to principals at Pars Ridge Elementary. Craig Hastings, principal at Pars Ridge Elementary, to principal at Manchester Elementary. Frank Clowder, assistant principal at Eldersburg Elementary, to assistant principal at Ebb Valley Elementary. Nina Green Watts, assistant principal at Ebb Valley Elementary, to assistant principal at Winfield Elementary. Gina Howarth, assistant principal, Winfield Elementary, to assistant principal, Mount Airy Elementary. Jennifer Mitchell, assistant principal, Mount Airy Elementary, to assistant principal, Friendship Valley Elementary. Serena Batangelo, assistant principal, Friendship Valley Elementary, to assistant principal, Eldersburg Elementary. And Charles Weaver, or Chip as we like to call him, assistant principal at East Middle, to area supervisor in student transportation. Next, Todd Wargo, assistant principal at Gateway Crossroads, to assistant principal at East Middle. Kamani Jones, assistant principal at Westminster High, to assistant principal at Gateway Crossroads. And finally, Jody Weaver, assistant principal at Shiloh Middle, to assistant principal at Northwest Middle.
Thank you very much. And at this time, may I have a motion for the approval of award of bids? By Ms. Battaglia, second by Dr. Dorsey.
Okay.
Ms. McCabe.
There are 15 items on the award of bids. First, we have an asphalt replacement and repairs at Liberty High School. This is an award to replace the asphalt at Liberty High, and it is funded through the capital paving project amount. Next, we have the relocation of one portable classroom building from Career and Tech to Friendship Valley Elementary School. As the project for Career and Tech moves forward, we're able to move one of the portable classrooms from that site to Friendship Valley. This bid award covers that move. Next, we have the music classroom furniture and equipment for East Middle. This bid is part of the outfitting of the East Middle's replacement project, and this bid is for furniture and equipment for the music classrooms. Maintenance and repair services for HVACR at South Carroll High School. Throughout the budget process, we've discussed the need for you to replenish the local CIP infrastructure renewal project account, and there are a few items on the award of bids that are based on that action later on this agenda, including this item to cover the costs of repairs of pipes at South Carroll High School. This is an item that was an emergency repair for us to fix leaking pipes at South Carroll High School before the situation became a major situation. Next, we have the furnish and installation of heated cabinets and refrigerators at 2 schools. The next 4 items are part of the food service program and are covered by the food services program fund. That includes furnish and installation of a dish machine at South Carroll High School, purchase of food and non-food supplies, purchase of commercial cafeteria equipment and furniture. Next, we have electrical power equipment. This is an award to replace the emergency generator at Elmer Wolf where it had failed. We have had a temporary unit in place there. This item will be funded by the local infrastructure renewal capital fund. Next, stadium and events seating. This item has been a priority, and with the infrastructure renewal account being replenished, we will be able to get the stadium seating at Liberty High School replaced this summer. Music cabinets for Westminster High School. This is another priority item that has been awaiting the replenishment of the infrastructure renewal account. We have office supplies. This is a 1-year purchasing list for office supplies for the system, including paper and printer supplies. Medicaid claims software and processing services. This is a 1-year contract with the possibility of renewals for software to process claims for students receiving services who are Medicaid eligible. Athletic sports supplies and equipment. This is a 1-year contract with the possibility of renewals for a purchase list of athletic supplies and equipment as needed. And finally, we have audio-visual equipment. This is a 1-year contract with the possibility of renewals for a purchase of AV equipment as needed.
Ms. Savigny.
Ms. McCabe, I actually have a bunch of questions on several of these. Should I just kind of go through them one by one? Okay. The first question I have is on the second item, the relocation of the portable classrooms. So we only had 2 vendors who bid on this, and one was at $265,000, the other was at $820,000. I'm trying to understand why there would be such a discrepancy, and it doesn't necessarily feel like a competitive bid process when one is so clearly out of whack from the other. So just wanted to kind of understand what happened there.
You know,
Mr. Prokop.
Yeah, we've experienced this sort of thing in the past with different contracts, site work, where the bids can be extreme. Even with 10 bidders, it can be quite extreme with even double the cost. It's hard to explain what the rationale is with a bidder, what their decision-making, what their business decision-making is in making a bid such as that. We do know, though, that the traditional cost that we've had has been around $125,000 to move a relocatable over time. So we're already looking at quite a jump with this bid. So we're just not sure whether there's there's just not enough, or there's too much work. Other jurisdictions may be, they may just have quite a bit more work that's siphoning off those competitive bids or those bidders. Just there, you know, this is just one relocatable. There are other jurisdictions that may have 10, 20 or more. They'll keep their whole business busy for a whole summer. So that's the struggle with what we're seeing out there.
Okay, that's what thank you for that. That's what I was trying to understand was, so with the 265,000, I wasn't sure whether that was a competitive bid or not. Like when you're looking at, there's really only one other that's 4 times higher, or 3.5 times higher.
Right.
So you're saying the 265 is significantly higher than we would have expected from other years for a relocatable project?
Yes, but it's not out of line with what we're seeing in general in the construction industry, with prices just, you know, going where they've been.
Okay, so we only have the one project this year, but we'll need to
Right.
keep an eye on that for future years as part of the planning process. Right, okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Prokop. And then item number 4, that was an emergency procurement. So this is really just an FYI, right? That money's already been spent.
Yes.
Right? Okay. On number 6, which was the furnish and installation of a dish machine at South Carroll High, there's an asterisk next to Singer Equipment because they were actually the lowest bidder. But it says that we consider them non-responsive because they didn't attend the mandatory pre-bid meeting. I'm just curious, like, did we tell them that their bid wouldn't be accepted?
Yes,
Okay.
we will.
But they submitted it anyway.
Well, they may have submitted, but then didn't attend. Well, yeah, I mean, it happens both ways, and then sometimes people are responsive to the bid but don't show up for work afterwards. So this isn't something that you necessarily see on every award of bids, but I would say routinely.
Okay.
A couple of months ago, there was something similar on one of the awards of bids.
Okay, all right. And then on the purchase of the food and non-food supplies in number 7, so it says that the estimated annual expenditure is $2.2 million, right? But it said that this was about a $400,000 savings over the way we previously purchased this.
I think on the commodity list as a whole, we would anticipate, based on a general year's experience with the pricing on this commodities list, we would anticipate savings at that level.
Okay.
Is that a fair way of saying it? Did that make sense?
Okay, so previously we would have budgeted $2.6 million for this item, is what we would have expected, but now it's coming in at 2.2.
It's more of, this is sort of, they buy as they need. And so we're anticipating based, yeah, I think we're saying the same thing, based on the pricing, that's what we would spend this year. So, yeah, it stands to reason we may have spent more in the past.
Okay, that's excellent news. That's great to hear. Okay. And there continue to be a lot of expenditures, like capital expenditures with food services, but their fund balance is still in a pretty healthy place?
Very healthy, and so a couple of things. You know, Ms. Sarno inherited a program that was sort of working to be solvent, and that program has become very solvent, and then with the influx of federal funds during the pandemic period, that increased the balance of the program fund, and she actually needs a plan to replenish the program from a capital standpoint as well as an operational standpoint. So in some ways this was planned in the long term, and then recent events have allowed her to sort of do a replenishment that was well overdue for quite a few years anyway. So you're seeing these almost every month as she systematically is replenishing the program.
Right, okay. And it's all being done in such a way that we don't need to increase the cost of lunches for our students or anything like that?
So far, that's been the case for many, many years, and nor is it touching your operating budget.
Right, okay. Yes, Ms. Sarno has been doing a fabulous job.
Yes,
so.
she has.
And I guess I was looking at number 10, which is the stadium bleachers.
Yes.
So there's a comment in here about that we're no longer up to code, and like there were safety concerns with these. Have the codes changed? Like, is this something that we're going to be seeing across other high schools with their bleachers?
The short answer is yes. So we have an inventory assessment of where we want to replace on a priority basis. We felt like with the timing of the budget action right now, tonight, hopefully in a bit, and the work we could get contractors' commitment for this summer, we could start with Liberty, which was a priority among other priorities, and then with the project account replenished for the future, you'll see additional ones come for next summer as well.
Okay.
And that's when we can fit the work in.
Okay. And we would expect them to be projects of about the same magnitude?
More or less, depending on the bleacher size, and then obviously we would accommodate folks who need accommodation in the meantime to attend an event, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. I think. Oh, and I think this is the last one. On number 13, the Medicaid claims software.
That one to Nick.
This is a software that we utilize for medical assistance and recovery. It's instrumental in helping us being able to maximize our recovery with medical assistance for the services that we can bill through special education for students with disabilities who are eligible.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about, $45,000 on an annual basis is a fairly high price tag for processing software. I was just curious what kind of reimbursements are we expecting from these payments?
Our overall recovery, Chris or Rob, for medical assistance is?
The number for this year, for last year.
Close to, I want to say close to $2 million, but I want to make sure that I'm not.
It was about 1.5.
1.5 million is our annual recovery.
Okay, so that's a very easy cost-benefit analysis.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I would like to have a motion for the approval of transportation services reimbursement formula FY24 by Ms. Battaglia, seconded by Dr. Dorsey.
Each year at this time, the board approves the annual transportation services reimbursement formula by which we reimburse the bus contractors for service. The FY24 formula reflects the details that you have been discussing throughout your operating budget process. It includes the inflationary impacts to the revised formula that the board enacted in FY23. As a reminder, the formula includes components for PVA, per mile maintenance, administrative allotment, driver and assistant salary, and diesel fuel.
Ms. Savigny?
I did have one question that I already know the answer to, but I figured I'd answer it in public, just so that people can hear it, ask it in public. So under the administrative allotment, this year it's $3,150, and on last year's paperwork it was $2,150, which is close to a 50% increase. But we had already made the decision to forward fund that last year, correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's not really a 50% increase from last year's. We have already forward funded that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? We have talked about this, kicked it around, beat it to death. I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. At this time, I would like a motion for the approval of personnel appointments.
So moved.
By Dr. Dorsey and seconded by Ms. Battaglia. And thank you, Mr. Hardesty.
I have 5 appointments for your action this evening. First, Kimberly Gold, Planner Analyst 2, Student Transportation, to Area Supervisor, Student Transportation. Next, Crystal Golden, Assistant Principal, Anne Arundel County Public Schools, to Assistant Principal, Westminster High. Julie Kuntz, Acting Coordinator of Special Education, Secondary Transition and Special Education, to Coordinator of Special Education, Secondary Transition and Special Education. Eric Mazeros, Physics Teacher, Winters Mill High, to Assistant Principal, Westminster High. Timothy Skillings, School Counselor, Linton Springs Elementary, to Acting Assistant Principal, Linton Springs Elementary. And that's it for this evening.
Comments? All right, I call for the vote. Oh, go ahead.
Ms. McCabe, could you just comment on, so we saw all of the previous movements that were made with all the APs and various positions. And with this move, will we expect to see a lot more of these over the summer, or are these positions, does this cover most of it?
This covers most of it. Mr. Shockney, can you remind me of what we
Sure.
have left?
We may have a few positions left, but this is the bulk of it. It was our goal to get all the administrators seated and in place by July 1, and I think we'll be close to that, but there'll be a few more, I think, not to this scale, but a few more in the June meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. At this time, I need an approval of personnel action items.
So moved.
By Ms. Savigny, seconded by Mr. Whistler.
There are 3 items on the personnel actions: 1 new hire, 1 leave of absence, and 1 increase in FTE.
Seeing no cards up, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. At this time, I would like a motion for the ratification of master agreement with Case. By Ms. Battaglia, second by Mr. Whistler.
Last month, we tabled ratification of the master agreement with Case to allow time for the Case membership to ratify. They have successfully ratified, and now the new agreement is presented for your ratification.
First of all, I want to thank them for everything that they do. I really mean that. Seeing no more, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. At this time, I need a motion for the approval of transfer of school bus contracts.
So moved.
By Ms. Battaglia, seconded by Mr. Whistler.
From time to time, bus contractors wish to sell certain routes to a different contractor. After those transactions are reviewed by staff, we bring them for your approval.
Questions or comments? I do have a question. And I just want to make sure that if they bring their drivers with them, then they have to still go through our training and be certified with Carroll County, correct? Okay, I see that head shake in the back, and I just want to make sure that they just can't, because I know Howard County bus rules, their department has different rules than us. But I just want to make sure that these guys have to go through our training program. Thank you very much. I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. All right, now we need approval of the FY24 operating budget. That's, okay, this is the first section. Go ahead. So moved by Ms. Battaglia, seconded by?
I'll second.
By Ms. Savigny.
Board members, we have come to the end of the FY24 operating budget process. Last evening, President Herbert attended the Commissioners' budget hearing to thank them for their support in funding all but $500,000 of your entire FY24 request. She let them know that we recognize that this was no small feat, and it required them to carefully consider the many priorities they have to balance throughout the county. President Herbert shared that this year has been an example of true partnership between 2 elected bodies and the members of our organizations in collaborating on your FY24 operating budget revenue request. The funding commitment from the commissioners will allow us to address our system inflationary impacts, meet some initial blueprint requirements, and most importantly, provide much-deserved compensation to our employee groups. We all know that in the coming years, we face many challenges together as we go about full implementation of the blueprint. We've begun those discussions with you and with our communities, and we have pledged to join the commissioners in working together with our delegation and with state officials to find the best solutions possible and request reasonable flexibility. Knowing these challenges are on the horizon is another reason why such a positive outcome to the FY24 budget process is so beneficial to our school system. we are able to move forward into FY24 to continue the hard work ahead without being bogged down with what we will need to cut this coming year or how we can help our employees. As you know, in adopting your budget, you take 4 specific actions. Separately, you approve the major categorical totals of the operating budget, the debt service amount, the food services program fund, and the capital project totals. That is how we will present it to you for vote. But as a quick review of the budget process and all the moving parts, I want to ask Mr. Burke, our CFO, to provide us with a brief summary, bringing us up to date on the final budget.
Good evening. We're at the final stage here of our budget process that began, back around holidays or so, with the board's action in February to adopt a final fiscal year 24 budget that included the request to the county, and now we're back with the final approval of the budget, and I'll run through a few changes that have happened since that action in February. Here's our fiscal year 24 non-restricted operating revenue. So state revenue, I'll go through in a little bit, up about $2 million from the time we adopted, once we got final numbers from the state. The county revenue, as you know, we requested $13.4 million from the county, and as was mentioned, the effort to fund that came in at $12.9 million, and so some minor adjustments were required to bring the budget within balance. Fund balance, when we initially adopted in February, was about $1 million of identified fund balance needs. I'll highlight these again later in the slide here. About $7.2 million as we are applying some fund balance to some current year expenditures. The county, you'll recall, we were before the board at the end of fiscal year 22 to recognize in kind, so that's services provided by the county for which they don't fund us directly, but it's services that benefit the school system. The cost of the SRO program was recognized in fiscal year 22. We're now going to begin budgeting it into fiscal year 24 and beyond. We'll be back in front of you, I think, next month in June to recognize some similar costs for fiscal year 23 and to account for them in our budget. So total, I'll call this total increase in terms of new money available in our fiscal year 24 budget of $36 million. As mentioned, the state revenue, I won't go through this history, but primarily driven by blueprint transition and student enrollment growth. And then that was all the non-restricted, and we'll touch on the restricted as well when we get to that portion. The primary areas driving expenditure growth of our budget for fiscal year 24, we've mentioned these in the past: inflationary impacts in our operating, the blueprint requirements. I'll walk through a few of those on the next slide. The transportation costs that were just captured in the changes to the formula. The action the board took for increasing substitute teacher rates. Some staffing increases that I'll also walk through on the next slide. I mentioned the SROs being recognized. The capital infrastructure renewal, that's use of fund balance. And then the primary driver of the increases in our budget under the inflationary pressures we're in for competing for talent within our workforce, the employee compensation across all groups. So a little more detail on a few of those. I'll hit primarily on the blueprint. So the requirements that go in for fiscal year 24, there will be more coming down the road, but primarily the school-funded dual enrollment and AP testing that will continue, the career counseling, workforce development program that we'll be undertaking, some continuing costs that had been pre-funded prior and are now moving back into our operating in TSI. And then the final 5 classrooms to complete full-day pre-K will include 8 additional positions for that as well. The other, I'll mention the staffing of positions. You'll recall that the Career and Tech Project will have us increase staff there for new space. The construction project manager that we've talked about through the process, and then the number of fund balance positions that we're finally able to bring into the operating budget now in an ongoing way, which sets us up well for the future. I mentioned the use of one time, so this is our fund balance use, $7.2 million. Again, the majority of it in capital infrastructure. You heard some of the projects that we'll get a jump on for this summer already, and we'll be able to draw down on this over the next several years as we plan out other similar projects and hopefully begin to work some of this type of funding in on a more ongoing basis in the future. The portions of a few of the programs, so these aren't the full cost, but portions of the career counseling, the transportation, and the second year of the special ed case manager agreement. I'll just put down there the balance at the end of our fiscal year 22 was about $12.8 million, about 3.4%. I'd call that a healthy place to be. We're comfortable there. We're sort of managing right now to stay within that range, not to get too low where we don't have some cushion, but certainly not to push up against. We have a cap of 5%, but even that we're looking to manage it and stay within that range, in that 3 to 4% range. We gave back in February, we were talking a lot about the restricted portion of the state funding. So you'll recall about $11.4 million. They increased it just a touch of compensatory education funding. That's new money to us. So the state, through changes to the way they've identified students of need, are increasing our total funding there. This is a step forward toward what will become an even bigger expenditure item for us in fiscal year 25. You see our estimate right now of that, something in the $48 million range. So this is really the part that the superintendent is holding blueprint community meetings to begin to share where we're heading over this year and next. But this year with the $11.4 million, that represents new state revenue. It will be used in 16 schools that have been identified for receiving this funding, and the primary cost within the program will be new resources in the form of new staff at those schools. So this represents new positions available in fiscal year 24. This is not what we've been talking about, which will be coming in fiscal year 25, potentially the necessity to reallocate staff across the system. So primarily we're looking at instructional and mental health support type roles at the schools that presented with most needs. So more on that to come, I think, how this will roll out in the future. You'll recall the state, through their formula, identified a concentration of poverty school, and we are working through that. We want to include that in the budget, and if it stays there, we'll work through that with the state and identify the plans for that. And then we see some additional Title I funding available in our fiscal year 24. That's federal restricted funding. We'll be identifying some services at 2 new schools for Title I. So with that, I'll say any questions. That covered the operating portion, primarily the non-restricted, and I'll begin to walk through, but go ahead if you have any questions. I'll put some numbers up on the board.
Ms. McCabe, I did want to ask about, so the 124 positions that are going to be primarily like resource teachers and behavioral specialists and things like that, it's going to be hard to hire that many folks over the short span of the summer. right? How does that work from a funding perspective? We're getting that funding from the state. If we can't fill those positions quickly enough, how does that play out?
So we'll fill them as much as we can for the beginning of the school year. And then, and then some positions we will continue to look for folks to fill, just like this year. We have continued to look for certain people to fill certain positions that we've had open this year. And other positions we will close, and then we will look at them again for the following year.
Okay. And other jurisdictions are going to be going out looking for the same types of resources, right? Like this is going to be happening around the state, so.
Absolutely.
Do we have any plans in place to try to advertise differently, or, how are we going to approach that?
Well, right now, we've just gotten to the point where we've put the plans in place for what we know we're going to need. The next phase will be looking at ways in which we can market ourselves and set ourselves apart from other school systems.
Thanks.
Mr. Whistler?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something really to the staff and also to the public watching. As someone who comes from a pretty big budget background, managing budgets over billions of dollars, $2 billion, I got to tell you, the staff, you did your due diligence in making sure that you put together a budget that was really not chock full of fat. There are some people clamoring out there in our county saying you guys are just bloating budgets and increasing money for no reason. And I assure you, as someone with my background in finance, that wasn't the case in this school system. So kudos to the superintendent, your staff. You really did a lot of great things. I mean, to the point where you did your due diligence in bringing us a recommendation about busing that we said no. So you really did go the extra mile to try to save money, spend things appropriately and responsibly, and I really appreciate everyone's hard work. And I got to tell you, I'm really impressed as a newcomer to this process at the processes you use internally and the efforts you go to make sure that we do things in a fiscally responsible manner. Thank you so much.
Ms. Savigny?
I did just want to echo what you just said, Mr. Whistler, and also just kind of tack on to some of the comments that Ms. McCabe and Ms. Herbert made earlier to the commissioners. This is Ms. Herbert's and my 7th budget cycle.
Yes, it is.
And while it was one of the most challenging from a fiscal perspective, and again, kudos to the school system for figuring out everything that was behind the blueprint and putting together a budget that we could actually potentially achieve. Just amazing work from all of staff. But also, I just, Mr. Vigliotti, if you can take it back to the commissioners, our thanks. That even though this was probably one of the most challenging in 7 years from a fiscal perspective, it was an absolute pleasure to work with the commissioners. Your group of 5, you've all been very open to listening to all of us to try to understand what our challenges have been. And we really appreciate the true partnership that you guys have exhibited this year, and hope that it, and I'm sure it will continue into the future, because next year is going to be even more of a challenge. So thank you.
I'm going to make you stand up. No, you go right ahead.
Well, I want to say thank you very much for that, and we'll pass along the kind words. We really do understand that there's a serious situation ahead of us. For the fiscal year 2025 budget, instead of beginning budgeting sessions next year in April, we're going to start this summer. We really do understand the gravity of the situation. We understand that you guys especially are under a serious challenge. And of course, that is a shared challenge. There are a lot of things that over the years that I guess better cooperation may have produced a better results. And myself and all 4 of my colleagues on the Board of Commissioners are truly dedicated to wanting to work together with you. We may not always end up on, to use I guess a writing analogy, we may not always end up on the same sentence, but we will be on the same page. And we really do respect you and the work that everybody in this system does. And again, we really do value the partnership, the family that we have with you guys. So thank you very much for that as well. It really has been a pleasure.
Well, thank you. And I will say, it starts from the top with Miss McCabe. And I know we've started a dog and pony show, but I'm telling you, I needed to go to the state and explain to them that we are in a real predicament. And I think when I made my little speech, it hit the papers, it hit the TVs, and I never dreamed that my name would be in the same sentence as the mayor of Baltimore City with a gut punch, but it is the truth. But I think people are starting to get we have been repeating this, and that we are in a unique situation compared to a lot. And I really do appreciate President Crawford and Vice President Dr. Getty, and also Zach Hands had some wonderful things, and also delegate, she was a delegate, Bates, Miss Bates, yes. And, they gave us really good feedback. So Miss McCabe and I have a lot more homework, but we got the attention of the AIB, and they're gonna send somebody up and look at it. I mean, we need people to come and try to figure this out and help us. And we have not had any of this at all until her and I've been begging and everything else. But I have been trying to shake the leaves and the trees and picking up stones, but I think we're finally starting to get a grip on how this is going to put us in a bad situation. I don't want to put this all on the taxpayers of Carroll County. That's not fair. It's terrible. I mean, they come to us because we have a great education system here in Carroll County. We get the biggest bang for our buck for our educators. But we need to have some leeway, some changes, and and we will continue to talk to our legislators. So this isn't done, and Ms. McCabe and I are gonna have some more meetings with some legislators coming up here very soon. But people are paying attention of what is going on in Carroll County and how unique we are. We are not the only ones. There's several others on the shore and Garrett County where they're going to have 2 schools. So, but I need to thank this lady here right beside me for her leadership and the leadership of her groups working closely. That's the only way we can make this work. So, okay, I'll be quiet, but go ahead. But, I have to, we're trying. People don't realize what we've been doing.
Well,
I've never dressed up so much in my life.
Again, we certainly recognize the efforts made to get through this fiscal year 24 budget. I think, with tonight's action, we can put this to rest. It's really going to be moving forward with the challenges we face coming into fiscal year 25. And, as the commissioner mentioned, working together early to really determine our path here. I would say the historical path of budgeting that the timing we've used is not going to work next year. We're going to need to be earlier with our decisions and with our clear policies about where we're heading, because it's going to be a significant transition for us. So after getting through the sort of the narrative of the presentation, here's the numbers. This is the non-restricted and restricted just shown separately. I'll move to the next slide. This is those same numbers combined into one total, which is how we adopted in total, revenue side and expenditure side by category there. So I would say these slides here represent the motion that you're currently under for the fiscal year 24 operating budget.
All right. Any other comments? Oh, go ahead, Ms. Pataglia, and then we're going to call.
I was just going to say, kind of a little echo of something everyone has said. I mean, this school system has made cut after cut after cut as long as I can remember, and you can remember, us going back fighting for schools to stay open. We're nowhere near the staffing as other counties. Other counties have 2 or 3 times more of the staffing than Carroll County does in comparison. And, you know, it's something sometimes all of us keep hearing is like, you need to cut more. There is nothing else to cut. And we're all of our staff and our teachers, our nurses, you know, our food workers, our pupil personnel. I mean, everybody is doing the job of 2, 3, 4 people. And Carroll County, we're so incredible by what we use, what we have. But I mean, it is very hard when the state says, well, you need to do this, and we go, wait a minute, we're already stretched thin as it is. So I appreciate everything the staff has done. You know, Mrs. McCabe, you know, Ms. Herbert, you know, you advocating as much as you can. I know this has been challenging for everybody, and I just, you know, this is something you guys have been doing for, I'm looking now 10 years. You've been working with what you got, and this is challenging, but we continue to do it. So thank you.
All right, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the approval of the FY24 Food Service Fund budget by Dr. Dorsey, seconded by Ms. Battaglia. All right, this is short and sweet.
I will just mention here, as was sort of asked and answered, no change to the price per meal within this plan. We're able to do it within existing rates for student meals. This is a considerable amount of federal grant funding within the food service budget, so just wanted to share that before we took action.
All right, seeing no cards up, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. At this time, I need a motion for the approval of the FY24 Debt Service Fund budget by Mr. Whistler, seconded by Ms. Savigny.
So this is the county bonds and debt outstanding on school facilities. So facilities that have been constructed in the past using debt.
Mr. Burke, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Guys, if you have a question, can you use your cards, please? Because it's distracting when other ones are talking. Thank you. Continue.
So again, prior school facilities that were constructed, this is the outstanding debt and the county's payment on that. This is how they and our system recognize the support in the form of debt payment on behalf of the school system.
Okay, thank you very much. Any comments, questions? I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. And now I need a motion for the approval of the FY24 Capital Improvement Fund budget.
So moved.
By Ms. Battaglia, seconded by
I'll second.
Ms. Savigny.
So the capital improvement fund budget, we outlined both by project and then by funding source. So primarily the state funding through school construction program, the transfer that we're going to do from our operating, the $5.5 million, and the local contribution from the county. There, total $52.2 million, and the list of projects there. So we do it sort of in both ways, by project and total.
Thank you. Any comments? I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. And at this time, we will go on and wish everyone to have wonderful graduations. And, oh, Ms. Savigny.
Ms. Herbert, I just, on like new business or
Oh, okay.
existing business.
Oh, I didn't know.
Is it, I appreciate Commissioner Vigliotti talking about starting on the budget process early this year. I think that the session that we had between the commissioners, the delegates, and the Board of Ed this past year was an incredibly good session, kind of getting everybody on the same page and understanding the challenges. Is that something that would the commissioners be willing to do something similar to that? Like, are we planning to do something similar this year?
we are definitely open to anything. You know, we really do want to continue that good working relationship. And then, you know, reflecting on something you had said a little while ago, I mean, if there's ever any issue that you need to raise with the state or anything that you feel that you need backing, that we might have better weight with it behind it if it came from us as well, that we signed on to something as a co-signatory. We are totally in favor of that as well, so.
Okay.
All right.
And to your point, Ms. Herbert, like, we're starting to get some traction, right?
Right. Oh, I
We've
believe
been hitting
that.
it on
Don't you
lots of
believe?
fronts and
Yes.
starting to get some
Right.
traction with people understanding the implications. So I thought.
You
I
would
just
like to,
wanted
maybe we need to look to set up another commissioner and delegation meeting.
I would like to propose that we do that if everyone else is on board.
I think that would be a great idea. Yep, because better late than, you know, better now than later, okay? All right, so now you have homework. Okay, all right. I think that was a great idea. As I said again, congratulations to all the seniors. Wish them well, be safe, and best of luck in your next endeavor. So, at 4 p.m. Wednesday, the 31st, at 2023, Facilities Master Plan Work Session in the boardroom at 125 North Court Street, Westminster. And at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, June 14th, board meeting with public participation in the boardroom at 125 North Court Street, Westminster. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Ms. Savigny. Second. Oh, by, that used to be my job, yes. Seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all. Have a great evening.